Hello. We have developed a AI-powered virtual assistant for architect to simplify the site analysis process. First of all, let us discuss what this site analysis is. Architecture process involves three major steps. The very first step is site analysis and design process, followed by planning of space or construction. Among these three steps, site analysis consumes more time, such as several weeks, maybe months. Usually, architects gather data manually and visualize them using Excel pivot table or Power BI, which consumes lot of time. So, we have introduced Archi-Scout-AI, which automates the process of data collection and visualization. User can get data for specific location based on the latitude or longitude provided using conversational chatbot within a fraction of a second, which drastically reduces the time and allows architect to focus more on design and planning process. Sun path and wind path are essential to determine the positioning of the window. Sun path is to determine the amount of light entered to the space and wind path is to determine the direction of ventilation. This is the standard psychometric chart to represent sun path and this is the map to represent wind path.
There are three more factors: temperature, precipitation, as well as the characteristics of soil, which play a major role in determining the materials that are used to raise the building, as well as the height of the building. Say, for example, a soil, for say example, a soil where nitrogen content is just 5% might not be suitable to build multi-storied buildings. So in that area where the soil content, nitrogen content is less than 5%, the houses should be constructed only up to 2 stories. Similarly, the climate, the weather conditions prevailing in an area will determine the materials used. For example, a house that is constructed in Chennai would be completely different when compared to to a house built in, say, Japan, where earthquakes are very common. They build houses using bamboos. And there is another feature called elevation.
Hmm. Elevation is to determine the area which is fall under low ground, mid ground or high ground. In low ground, the flow of water is more, so the possibility of flood is more.
So in this feature, we have integrated with the Google Maps. So, the architect can visually see how the location is. He can, locate the nearby buildings, ensure proper ventilation and stuff. And here is the disturbing factors list. For example, say a factory is 1 kilometer, a chemical factory is 1 kilometer near your house. It might emit harmful pollutants into the atmosphere, which in turn, might affect your health. All these factors, should be considered, while planning to construct a house. So what we have done basically, to find all these disturbing factors is we have used an basic ML model called linear regression. Okay, so first, what we have done here is, as the user has already inputted his latitude and longitude coordinates, we would be passing it to a function. What this function would do is it would identify all these places near that particular user's coordinate. Say, for example, 5 kilometers. It would, generate a list of all the places that are within this radius of 5 kilometers. And what we have done is, to determine the disturbing factors, we have used two models called fuzzy as well as spacey. What the fuzzy model does is it identifies word similarities. For example, a task mark might be disturbing to a user. So, for example, say a task mark, the name of the task mark in a Google map is there's a spelling mistake in the name. This fuzzy model will identify those spelling mistakes. What the spacey model does is it embeds the place's name, so it gets the semantic meaning of the word. For example, a name called Royal Club is completely different to a name called Royal Taskmark, but both of them convey the same meaning. But what the spacey model does is it identifies the semantic similarity between these two, and it determines. What the machine learning model does is it determines how far the location is from the coordinate. And for example, a factory which is 10 kilometers away from my location might not affect me in any way, but a factory which is a kilometer ahead of me might affect my health. So that might come under disturbing factor. We have trained the model in such a way that it considers all these parameters and it provides us the output. And currently what we have done here is we have used prompts to pass to the LLM model. The user's input question would be passed to the model. The model would answer, would pass the question to the appropriate function using these prompts. But this isn't the final end-term goal of us. What we are planning to do is we are planning to fine-tune the model. Since fine-tuning the model takes quite a lot of time, we haven't been able to implement it as of now, but we have started collecting data to fine-tune the model. And in addition to this, to make this understand, to make this chatbot easily accessible to people, we have, made it conversational. For example, if I ask, explain why bulk density of soil is important. So what we have done is it would, list all the details and explain why bulk density is considered very important as a property of soil. This is it as of now. There are further implementations we are planning to make in the future. Thank you.